Hello and welcome to today's Clarity Reset. I'm here with Eveline today. We are going to map our energy today. So most of us build our schedules around when things need to happen rather than around when we actually have the energy to do them well. And so today we're going to look at that. I know that some things they just are what time they are. And that's totally understandable, but some things we do have some control over. So we're not going to get into any productivity hacks or time blocking or some kind of system designed by someone else that you're trying to plug in. What we're going to talk about today is your actual energy and specifically three types of it, when you have each one, generally speaking, and where the mismatch between that and your current schedule is costing you the most. So, before we get started, we're going to do a grounding exercise. So, I invite you to get cozy in your chair, close your eyes, or soften your gaze so that you're not focusing on anything in particular. And just start to notice what is present for you right now in your body, in the room around you. Notice your energy level in this moment without judging it. We're going to take a few breaths together. So, a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And now let your breathing return to normal. And again, I want you to get present in your body, meaning pay attention to the breath moving in and out. Maybe pay attention to any areas that you're holding energy, maybe tension, maybe lightness, maybe any other feeling in your body that you have. If there are any spots that are specifically uncomfortable, like maybe a lower back pain or a neck pain, feel free to kind of stretch it out a little bit right now. Try to loosen any muscles that feel tight or tense. And just try to get real comfortable in your body. Let your arms and hands rest somewhere that they feel supported. Ideally, plant your feet flat on the floor so that you can feel the ground beneath you firm, holding you steady. And again, notice your energy level in this moment without judging it. Just take note. Maybe you feel energy in a creative way, like you want to create something or design something or express something. Maybe you feel it in executive function, where you feel like you want to organize or start a task, or maybe follow through with something. Or maybe that doesn't feel good at all. Just notice what you're feeling when I say these things. Another type of energy is social energy. So maybe you're feeling like you want to engage with someone, maybe clients, or you want to work within your community with people, collaborate, showing up live to a call. Maybe that's the energy you're feeling right now. So just take note. Are you feeling creative? Are you feeling executive function? Are you feeling social? And notice where that kind of feels in your body, good or bad. Maybe when I said social, it felt uncomfortable, or maybe it felt good. That's the sort of thing that we're going to work on today. Let's take a few more breaths together. A deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Deep, slow breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more together, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your breathing return to normal. And now I invite you to come back to the room, pull out your journal, and for the first couple of minutes, I want you to just brain dump. And that means whatever comes to mind, just write it down. This is just to get the thoughts floating around that are in the way, get those on paper, get them out of the way. And you want to write for the entire 2 minutes. And so if you don't know what to write, just write any word at all. And then just keep writing that word until the next one comes. Whatever pops into your mind, write it down. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to see it. You don't ever need to use it again. Just get it out of your head and on to paper. Okay, you can stop writing. Now, the first part of this, I want, and I'll go into some detail, but when throughout your day do you have each of these three types of energy, and how much of each do you typically have? So this is going to take some thought. We have three different types we're going to work with today: creative energy, executive function, and social energy. And so I'll explain real quick what each one of those are. The creative energy, think of think about it as your ability to generate, make, write, design, ideate, express. This is literally the energy behind anything that requires originality or imagination, right? So that is what creative energy is. So that could be creating content or making things in Canva or, you know, coming up with ideas or ways to express something or how to write something. That's all within a creative realm. Okay. The next way that we're going to look into is executive function. And that is your ability to plan, organize, start tasks, follow through, make decisions, manage time. It's your executive function. It's the energy behind getting things done in a structured and sequential way. And so that's what executive function is, getting things done. Now, your social energy, the third one that we're working with, is your capacity to engage with other people. And that could be one on one with people, that could be with clients or someone in your community here on school or sales conversations, collaborations, showing up on live calls. It's the energy behind connection and communication with others. Now, for each one of these, what's true about each one of these is that you don't have social energy 24/7. No one does. And that's okay. And so what we're going to do here, especially in this first one, is we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of what types of energy you have and when. And so what I want you to do is think about a typical day. All right? Your typical Tuesday, your typical Thursday, whatever. Just pick a day that's kind of a typical day for you. And I want you to think about what times in those days your energy is more creative, executive, and social. So you can write each one of those down if you want. And then, maybe your executive function, you notice that like you like to get things done in a very organized way first thing in the morning. Maybe that's your like best energy. Something I want you to think about though is maybe when you're getting those things done in the morning, maybe you feel like totally it takes all your energy away. So the idea here is that you want to identify when your energy is best in these three areas. So if you get a lot of things done in the morning but you hate it and it's terrible, then morning isn't your executive function even if that's what you're currently doing. So this isn't about what you're currently doing. This is about what's ideal for you, what you've noticed is ideal for you. So get to work on that. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to explore it. And I will pop in and remind you what each one is, what might help you organize around this. And maybe it makes sense to just change have three times of day, like morning, afternoon, evening, and then figure out what's best when. This isn't about what your current schedule is. We're not even looking at your current schedule. We're looking at when your energy is ideal in those three areas: creative energy, executive function, and social energy. Maybe you notice that you have a couple of these that start to peak at a certain time. I notice that in the very early morning, I'm executive function, but in the later morning, I start to get creative and I start to I want some social interaction, you know? Another way to think about this, if you're having trouble, you know, thinking of an ideal day, you can just look back at different times like, wow, my creative energy was so awesome this one time. And what time was it? What day was it? You know, you can look at it like that. Um, because oftentimes we can find patterns if we can identify a few instances of that, or maybe your social energy was real high this one time or real low some other time. When was that? What time of day was it? So that's another way that can help you identify what time your energy is generally doing whatever it's doing. All right, you have a little under a minute left, so start wrapping that up. And so maybe if you have a bunch of notes, just take a general inventory of it, when, like, maybe mornings are more like this, afternoons are like this, evenings are like this. So just kind of have that general thought in mind by the time we finish up the time for this prompt. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at your current schedule. This doesn't have to do with your energy. You already wrote that down. This is what your I know every day is different, but if you were to look at the majority of your days are basically this, um, write out what your typical day looks like. What are you doing and when? And when you write that down, maybe even note right next to it. If you're, this is the time of day that you typically have client meetings, then write social energy there. Even if you don't have social energy at that time, just write it down. Right now, this is what your typical day looks like, what you're doing and when. Got a couple more minutes left. So, again, this is your typical day. What does your current schedule look like? Not the ideal version, the real one. Like, when do you start working? What do you do first? What gets pushed to later? Um, but map it as honestly as you can in blocks if you can. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, start wrapping that up. And again, it doesn't have to look perfect. It can be messy. Totally fine. Because I know not every day is the same. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is I want you to look at both of those side by side. Where is your schedule asking you to use energy that you don't actually have at that time of day? Where is your schedule asking you to use energy that you do not actually have at that time of day? And write about it. So in other words, when where are you creating or where are you scheduling creative work during hours when your creative energy is tapped? Where are you booking client calls, sales conversations, posting and communicating in your communities or on social media or in your business during times when your social energy is generally low? Where are you trying to plan, organize, or make decisions when your executive function isn't optimal? This isn't right now, you're not claiming that you're going to change your whole schedule around. You're just going to name where it's kind of mismatched so that you're aware, so that not necessarily to change everything, but just so that you know. You can make this out as a list. I'm actually kind of brain dumping. I'm looking at both of them and I'm just writing. Lately, the mismatches have been here. We're there. You really just want to get it out on paper, name those things on paper. Be honest about where that friction is coming from. And one indicator of this Maybe by a certain time of day, you're just exhausted. You're like, God, I'm just so tired by like 3 o'clock, or my tension headache, which is, I have those. But tension headache, it starts at 2 o'clock. Well, what are you doing before 2 o'clock that leads up to it? And maybe there's a mismatch there. Maybe you're zapped because whatever you're doing at that time of day isn't optimal for your energy level and the type of energy you carry throughout the day. And so think of it as that too. That's another way to kind of identify. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. So do not give yourself a hard time about this. We're just getting honest about our energy levels and what type of energy we have and when. So that if there are little minute changes that we can make somehow, some way, eventually, we're at least aware of where we should make them. But most importantly, this is really so that you have awareness around this over the next week, 2 weeks. You're going to start to notice, and just noticing will help you be prepared for whatever that energy is. So, again, um, we are looking at the mismatches. So you want to look at both of those side by side. Where is your schedule asking you to use energy you do not actually have at that time of day? And I'll give you another minute to work on that one. Okay. So the next part of this, if I designed my schedule around my actual energy instead of my obligations, the first thing I would change is blank. Now, again, obviously, we all have obligations. We all have things that we can't change the time of necessarily. But, if you were able to design your schedule around your actual energy instead of obligations, what is the first thing that you truly would change if you could? And write that whole sentence out and write it like you mean it. Okay, and as you're finishing that up, I what I did not too long ago is I created an energy tracker so that I can track these three different types of energy at any given time, sporadically. And so over time, I was able to come up with, you know, how my energy is best and worst and different levels of it so that I could schedule my work a little better around that. And I will say it helped me to be a lot more productive, if you will. Um, and it also helped me be able to come up with ways that um, I could do my work better. You know, I was more creative. I was more in tune, you know, organically with myself and with the work I was doing. And it all just kind of like flowed. And sometimes I would find myself like 10 o'clock at night, like, how am I still going? You know, because I wasn't feeling like an energy loss. And I think that that's why it's important for us to really know our energy because we can't work with our energy until we actually know what it is and when it is. So I hope that was helpful. And I know this can be an overwhelming one because
Yes.
there's so much, but it can also give you a lot of really good, juicy info too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I should do my studying in the morning because I'm fresh instead of doing my physical things that I could do at night when I don't have to think about it. Like I last night I got a energy spurt and I got up 9 o'clock. I did my laundry and I don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? It's not a task I have to think about. Whereas I noticed that I won't eat right unless I cook in the morning. So I have to switch things around for that. But the business part, I don't know. I get a second wind at night. So if I relax a little bit, like between 5 and 6, then I get a second wind to work at night on the things that I don't really need to think about. I just
Mhm.
do them and get them done. So I think I'm going to change that. But as far as the morning, I don't, I think I need to do this studying in the morning, actual building in my community in the morning. I've never really tracked my energy. You know what I mean? So
I
I
do.
don't, yeah, I don't know what my peak hours are because sometimes I wake up tired. Like today, I'm tired. So, but I'll do what I need. I know how I need to do. So
You
I'm
know,
going to have
here's
to look at it. I'm going to have
yeah.
to look at it and see today how to, keep track of how I feel today.
Yeah. And that's what I recommend. I mean, and it's not just today because today might look a little different than tomorrow, might look a little
Yeah.
different than Friday, Saturday, everybody every day might be a little different. Um and maybe you have medium energy or high energy or medium low energy and it's a combo of things, so
Yeah.
it does get to be kind of complicated when you start to really get into the tracking of it. Um, so, but I think it's so important, and
Yes.
so moving forward, you can start to notice like when you're building in your community.
Yeah.
You can start to notice like, God, it just feels so hard right now. Like it doesn't, like I just don't even want to type the words. I just feel like I'm fighting myself to do this thing that
Yeah.
generally you might love doing.
Yeah.
Um, take note of that, like, and write down the date or write down the day, write down the time, and just be like, you know, social energy terrible or whatever, and
Mhm.
just be real about it. Just jot it down.
Okay.
Another thing that you can do is start a tracker in Notion because Notion
Oh,
has a free and there is in the community. I have a tutorial about exactly how to set up your Notion tracker.
oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Notion. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
And
it's in,
Notion is totally free. Well, it's not. I mean, you can upgrade, but the version that I have is totally free. It takes some serious executive function to get it set up.
Mhm.
But I've thought about offering it like, here's my template, just use it, and I've thought about just like sharing my template out there because it's just a simple tracker, and
Yeah.
you can, you can just pop in whenever you feel like, put your notes in and pop back out. And in a week or two, you look back at all of that data and you're like, oh, okay, now I see when I'm
Yeah.
better or worse at stuff. And so I think it's a really helpful tool. And there's colors and stuff. And it's nice to see color coded things because it's pretty.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And I'm
so yeah,
visual.
so yeah, so that might be a good tool for you. There, like I said, there's a tutorial in there to help you
Okay.
learn how to set it up. It's in the classroom, in the
Okay.
toolbox classroom.
Okay.
Um, and not to try to add one more thing to your pile of things to do,
Oh,
but this might be a
yeah,
helpful
good
one.
for me. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
really do need to know when I should be working on my cancer, when I should be working for school, and when I should be, doing any homework I have. I need to
Mhm.
know when the best time for me to do that is. And
Yeah,
now I don't know. I kind of jam. I get carried away on something, and my whole day goes, and I don't like that. So I
yeah.
need I like it more structured now, and it's
Mhm.
not yet. Okay, great. Okay,
Yep.
now that I know that
And it's
notion.
great
Probably
to have structure, but it's also fine to have days that are just like that too. Because
yeah.
I feel like creative energy comes best. Like my some of my best ideas come on the days that I'm just like no
Oh,
structure. I'm just going. But it's
yeah,
not good to have those all the time because then you just
all
end
the
up
time.
with your head in the clouds.
Yeah,
So,
yes, yeah. Yeah, my Monday's kinda like that because of my personal obligations. Usually Saturday and Sunday, I'm just going. I have scheduled things that I have to do. And, um, and so I know come Monday, I'm really tired because I doing the social stuff takes a lot of energy. So
yeah,
Monday, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything. I'm
yeah,
tired. But so I noticed that my day off is Monday, um, and the other days, I do work, but Monday is for me my official day off. Now that
yeah,
I'm tired. But so okay, I'm going to set up that tracker. Yes,
yeah.
because
I think Notion is a
I need to know.
cool thing.
Yeah, in order to go forward, I need to know where my energy is. And
Yeah,
but I
it
like
really
I
helps.
yeah
It really
for
helps.
yeah for this I like the fact that I realize do your home chores at night. Be, except cook in the morning. That's the first thing I should do. Cook in the morning, my dinner, so then I don't have to think about it the whole day. What am I going to eat? I'm tired. I don't want to cook. So, yeah,
Yeah,
this is good.
I love
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
So at
You
least
are
I know two things.
That's
But I
huge,
need
that's a
to
big
yeah.
deal, and it
Yeah.
could be that those 2 things change everything else. It might change the
Yeah.
energy completely of every day, just
Yeah.
just those minor changes can really change the trajectory of your whole day. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm
Oh,
glad you
good.
got those nuggets. So
Yes. Night. Defrost. Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. I love
alright,
it.
you are welcome, and I will see you in school.
Yes. Bye.
Okay. Bye, dear.